Hello everyone, this is Nick from Arcade-Hunters.com, and this is my review of Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo, which was originally released on the Super Nintendo back in 1994, while the original arcade game was released in the winter of 1993. And I'll tell you, when that game came out in the arcades, it was pretty much the hugest event in all of arcades that I could ever think of. The one arcade that I used to visit, called the Spaceplex, had around 4 to 5 of these machines running at a single time, and you would go there on a Friday or Saturday night. The people would be lined up to play the game anytime they got a new Street Fighter, or I even remember the night they got the new Virtual Fighter came in. Nobody played that. Everybody stuck to Mortal Kombat 2. And it seemed like even after Mortal Kombat 3 came out, people didn't really warm up to it, and they kind of stuck with the original Mortal Kombat 2. Now, as you can see, I finally have impaled Melina. Yes, Nintendo, after having their sales really dip down because they decided not to include fatalities, finally decided to let the money talk and put in actual fatalities in the game, so they're all here in their glory. And for the port of this, it's actually very good. The controls are more spot on, the characters do, and the graphics look like the original arcade game, with some little added twist that you'll be seeing coming up very soon in the Pit 2 stage, that they've added in a little bit of Mode 7, where when you knock the guy into the pit, it'll actually have the background will kind of spin, rather than the arcade game where it just kind of like zoomed in and the guy always looked like, you know, he was just laying on his back wiggling his arms, which he probably was doing during the motion capture process. But, you know, this game, you know, it gave us more of what we wanted. You got more fatalities, 2 per character, more stage fatalities, and here comes Pit 2 with the Mode 7. Very nice, I love that. And I mean, this game came out on pretty much every system you can think of. If you want to see a great Mortal Kombat retrospective of all the different home ports, definitely check out Ito's review over on RetroWareTV.com. That guy did an amazing compilation of pretty much all the Mortal Kombat games, excluding Mortal Kombat 4, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, this was, you know, one of the biggest games. This has to be one of my most played games on the Super Nintendo. Pretty much for the fact that this was one of the games that was supported on X-Band, and I know there's a lot of X-Band fans out there. I know there's some people that are actually trying to bring X-Band back, and that would be really cool to try that again. And Mortal Kombat 2 on X-Band for the Super Nintendo was one of the biggest games out there. I mean, it had a whole lot of competition. There was a lot of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or, no, I'm sorry, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but I was terrible at that game as a kid, and ended up playing this one a lot online. There was one guy that I was friends with who actually played at Chinatown Fair, so he was one of the #1 people ranked regionally for Mortal Kombat, and I actually played him in the arcade, and I just told the guy, I said, I know you usually hang back, but, you know, go all out. I want to actually play against you full strength. He beat me in less than 25 seconds. He was absolutely brutal with Liu Kang. He knew how to do that whole thing where he could just get you into the kick loop and the bicycle kick and just leave you in there, and it was just so insane, just the stuff that people would find out with this game. And I think a couple of other people have talked about, like, when, you know, they just released this game in the arcades, there really wasn't a lot of exposure to the internet to find out what the fatalities and stuff like that were. You know, people would kind of like discover things. I've even heard stories of people, like, they would put a coat over their hands so you couldn't see them do the fatality inputs and just stupid stuff like that. But, you know, that's what was so cool about the arcades, was, you know, you would go in there, you'd never know what you would see. Somebody would figure out something. You know, when the first Mortal Kombat units came out, before they started doing the upgrades and the revisions, I remember there was this one guy that used to be able to do the friendship and babality at the same time. He would first turn you into a baby, and then I remember, I think he used Baraka, and he would pop out the birthday present. It was pretty funny stuff like that that they ended up changing in future revisions of the game. And, you know, it just made the game better. And, you know, here we go with one of the best fatalities, Kung Lao, slice you in half. So, this is my review of Mortal Kombat 2. going to be back with Mortal Kombat 3. I'm Nick from Arcade Hunters. Thank you for watching.